Yes, sir. All right, it's your boy Crick. You are now tuned in to the second episode of the 1-4 Flat podcast. Get the hell out the way. No scrubs allowed. You know how this goes. All right. It's going to be strictly sports today. Just NFL and NBA. Let's get right into it. But first, let me start out with the champion. And still, the bronze bomber, baby. Yes, sir. Do not fight that man with your hands underneath your chin, or he gonna knock your ass out. It only takes one. I need that Wilder Fury Part 2. All right. Now, enough of that. Let's get into this NFL. I want to start out with a couple of quarterback situations that are going on right now. First of all, I want to talk about the Broncos. To give a little backstory, they draft this kid Drew Lock with the an early second round pick, so they're invested into this kid. And they also get Joe Flacco. And they also have this third stringer, Brandon Allen. He hasn't played a regular season game before, but he's bounced around the league. I think he played for the Jaguars and maybe another team or two. But, let's see. Okay, so regular season, they're testing out Flacco and Drew Lock, and in either the second or the third preseason game, Drew Lock injures his thumb. He's got to get surgery on it, so they're like, all right, well, we got to go with Flacco. Okay, that's fine. Flacco starts the season, probably first. I don't know how many games we're into the season now, but up until about 3 weeks ago. And coincidentally, air quotes, he gets a neck injury. They place him on IR, which means this dude fucking sucks. He cannot do not a goddamn thing for us, and we'd rather play our third string quarterback, Brandon Allen. Okay, and around this time they starting Brandon Allen. Drew Lock is coming back into the mix. He's starting to practice again. Vic Fangio is saying he's looking good. The break probably helped him a lot mentally. But, of course, this is all practice, so no games. All right, Brandon Allen, first game, gets a W. I think it was against the Browns, I believe. Okay. And then they go into Minnesota. He played well, but there is no excuse. I do not care. There's just not one excuse somebody can tell on why they lost that fucking game. They need to win that game. On the goal line, with like a minute left, you have to win that game. I do not care. Not one excuse can save anybody from that situation. All right, and then, they go into Buffalo this past Sunday, and they lay an egg. I mean, they played fucking horrible. And, you can't really blame them too much. I mean, this is his third game ever. Yeah. So, 5 games left in the season. You got to start Drew Lock. You invested a lot into him. You got to see what he's about. There's a couple of free agents coming up. You need to see if this kid is the future or if he is not. But what they most certainly cannot do is, let's say, start him next week. Plays horrible, okay? And then the week after, let's say he has a poor first half, you cannot bench him and put in Brandon Allen. You have to use every freaking quarter, every game, the rest of the season to see if this kid is worth it or not. Because they got some big decisions coming up, because I personally believe they're about 2 or 3 players away from making not even a run to the playoffs, but in the playoffs. I truly believe that. So, let's see if they'll start Drew Lock these next 5 games, and, we'll have to wait and see. All right. And then the Bengals. Why the fuck are you going back to Andy Dalton? I get it. You haven't won a game. You probably want to, give your fans at least one game. But if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm saying, fuck that. Leave the other fucking quarterback in. We don't want to win a game this year. We want Joe Burrow. We want this number 1 pick. We are tired of this motherfucker, Andy Dalton, this ginger fuck, under center, fucking everything up. I mean, goddamn, they should have got rid of him when they got rid of Marvin Lewis, and they should have done it 5 years ago. Straight up. They should have done this a lot sooner, because that shit is atrocious over in Cincinnati. I mean, yeah, they got to do something about that. If I'm a Bengals fan, I'm saying I do not want to win one game this year. Not one. And then there's the Packers. The Packers. They get absolutely steamrolled by the San Francisco 49ers. I don't blame Aaron Rodgers too much. It's tough when you don't have a solid running game to rely on. And to be fair, that defense is for real. They don't have to blitz much. They drafted very well on that defensive line to where they can get to you without any blitz packages. So I don't blame them all too much, but over the past 4 years, Aaron Rodgers' completion percentage has dropped. His QBR has dropped. Not a ton, but it's declining. And here's a hot take. I'm about to spit a hot take here. They need to, I don't know how they would do it or how Aaron Rodgers would do it, but they need to, I think Aaron Rodgers needs to have a new scenery. He needs to go somewhere new. And let's just spitball a couple of teams here. Forget about the Kirk Cousins contract. Let's just fantasize about the Vikings. Yes, they are a division rival. I get that. But imagine Aaron Rodgers with Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, and Stephon Diggs. Just think about that. And then they also have a defense where they can take you to a Super Bowl. I believe that, especially if you got an offense that can score like that and that you may need to get into a shootout. I like the chances with Aaron Rodgers, Dalvin Cook, Stephon Diggs, and Adam Thielen. And Kyle Rudolph. He's not a scrub. And you know who else went to Minnesota from Green Bay? Brett Favre. And Brett Favre, did he go to a Super Bowl? He would have if it wasn't for some extra money on the side to dive on his ankle from the New Orleans Saints. Just an idea. I think it'd be beneficial for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to go their separate ways. I would I just want to see Aaron Rodgers with a new team. I think it would benefit him a lot. But that's my take on Aaron Rodgers. I'd love to see it. All right, and another quarterback, Cam Newton. He does a lot of help in the community in Carolina, and he's been serving Thanksgiving meals to families and underprivileged children and whatnot. And in a statement, he said Carolina is home. He wants to be there and help the community for many years to come. What the fuck else is he gonna say? Around all those people that watch him play every Sunday for the past how many ever years, since 2011? What else is he gonna say? Come on. But Cam Newton needs to go. He needs to go somewhere new. He needs to get fully healthy. He needs to go somewhere new. I truly believe that. But I get it. You can't just say it like that, because Carolina's been good to you and you've been good to them, and that relationship is pretty good. But football-wise, it's time to go. It's time to go somewhere new. And let's talk a little bit about this Rams-Ravens game. Well, it's pretty fucking obvious. The Ravens are a for real contender. But, let's wait on the Ravens real quick. Let's get into the Rams. God, I did not expect this drop-off. And I don't think a lot of people saw it coming either. But, with the Todd Gurley situation and his knees, now I'm going to make a comparison here. Kind of like to compare Todd Gurley to Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis was a running back for the Denver Broncos for about 7-8 years. He won those 2 Super Bowls with them back in 98 and 99. And he was a phenomenal running back for the time that he was in the league. And now, granted, Todd Gurley has not had a run like Terrell Davis had, but Todd Gurley performed for his contract. He was best in the league, if not top 2 with Zeke. And, out of nowhere, you start hearing about arthritis in the knees. And that's basically what happened with Terrell Davis. His knees it gave out on him. And if Terrell Davis would have played probably 2 or 3 more years in the NFL, he'd be in the Hall of Fame, no fucking question. And, Todd Gurley, you start hearing about this arthritis in his knees. It's a big thing going into the Super Bowl against the Patriots. And especially now, we'll see a flash of him every 4 games or so, it seems like. But, man, it sucks to see such a good player like that be struck with that kind of injury, from the football gods. It really is a bummer, because I do like watching Todd Gurley play. And I guess, we're starting to find out Jared Goff ain't that great. He's not that good. If he's got to make a play for himself and he doesn't have an offensive line that can take care of him and give him 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3, give him all that time in the pocket, he can't go out and make a play for you. Not even with Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, who is having an amazing comeback season. Yeah, he still cannot go out and make a play for you. That's a problem. All right, enough about the fucking Rams. Let's talk a little bit about the Ravens. Marcus Peters gets that interception on his old team. Every Raven, that there's that caption to that video of them going down to the end zone. Every Raven in history went to go and take that picture. I tell you what, though, I would want to see the Ravens be humbled this upcoming week against the Niners. The Ravens have won 7 straight. I think they're a little over their heads right now. I like the swag they're playing with, but I want them to come down to earth a little bit. All the team pictures after an interception, the post-game conferences. You want to be humbled before the playoffs start. You don't want to be humbled in the playoffs. You don't want that to happen. You do not want to be humbled in the playoffs. You do not want that to happen. So, get a... Fuck, am I going to pick the Niners? I don't know. We'll save that for Friday for predictions, but it's going to be a good game. And if the 49ers can figure the Ravens defense out, or the Ravens offense out, I might pick a rematch in the Super Bowl with that one. I think a lot of people would like to see that. But all right, is that all we got for the NFL? Oh, well, no, I'll save that argument for another time, but I will say this. The MVP race this year, very exciting. But, for me, I would definitely like to see another player besides a quarterback win the award. I get it, though. I don't know. It's just annoying to me how it's a quarterback award now. I get it, because if they give it to a running back like McCaffrey, they'll have to start playing. They'll have to start paying them big dollars. If a running back is the MVP of the league, that truly shows their worth. And teams will have to start paying them. So I get it. But it's stupid. I don't like it at all. All right. NBA. The NBA. Let's start out with that boy Luka Doncic. This dude is a hooper. He is a baller. He is a 1-4 flat. Get out the way, I got it from here. Yeah, he's special. And he's 20 years old. I think it'd be wrong to not mention Trae Young, because, they were the two front runners for Rookie of the Year last year. And Trae Young he's having a good season over at Atlanta, because if he wasn't there, that team would fall apart. But, man, he's looking special. I mean, he's in the MVP race. He's going to go from Rookie of the Year to possibly Most Improved / MVP. I don't think he'll win MVP, but to be a second-year player in that discussion is ridiculous. But he is extremely skilled beyond his years, and I am definitely excited to see what comes. And I'm going to make a super hot take right now. He will be the best foreign player to ever play in the NBA. Yep, over Dirk. Yep, over Akeem Olajuwon. Yeah, I think he will be the best. Or not Akeem Olajuwon, but Akeem Olajuwon is not from the United States. But yeah, I think I mean to be as skilled as he is, this young, it's hard not to see multiple MVPs, multiple finals appearances, and multiple finals rings. It's hard not to see it. And last night, Giannis dropped a 50-piece. Cool. LeBron, a light 33 and 12. But here's one thing, about the MVP that I'm just not getting. Over the past 3-4 years, when Russell Westbrook won it for the triple-double and James Harden and Giannis and blah, 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 blah. They keep moving the fucking goalpost for each player to win it, and I'm getting real fucking tired of it. It's getting real fucking annoying. Real annoying. And the two things about James Harden and Giannis, it's a good debate to have on, and it's almost like you can't really have it on who's better, Giannis or Harden, just because they're two way different players, but they're both super dominant in the ways they play the game. But that's cool. These two players can go ahead and strive for the regular season MVP. They won't win nothing in the playoffs. The Rockets are looking good, but no, I think they'll have a tough time come playoffs again. I'm not a believer in Houston in the playoffs. And I'm not a fan of Giannis in the playoffs. I think I said that last episode. He can play well all he wants in the regular season, but come playoffs, they're going to figure him out. They're going to figure him out again because he can't shoot a goddamn 15-foot shot, 20-foot shot. So, that's that on that. Kyrie. Kendrick Perkins said he looked at his schedule before the season started and was like, oh, Boston, going back to Boston? No, I'm going to be injured for those 3 games and, blah, blah, blah. I don't have a problem with it. And the only reason is, seems to be trouble in paradise wherever Kyrie goes as of recent. So, as much drama as he can avoid, do it. I'm a Kyrie guy. I like Kyrie's game a lot. But, it's tough seeing all the headlines of, oh, he's not happy, they're not making it work, blah, 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 blah. So, if he can escape that game, that's good for the Brooklyn Nets. But he better not be missing a lot of games this year, because he better make them goddamn playoffs. If he is if he's that dude, he will get that team to at least an 8th seed. My God, I mean, you got to at least get to the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. I mean, there's no excuse. Not a goddamn one. I don't care if you win a game in the series, you got to get them to the playoffs because you are Kyrie Irving and you are that good of a player. And if he doesn't, if I'm KD, I'm like, oh, shit. You know, there might be some discussions. I'd be pissed if I was KD and I saw Kyrie not lead him to the playoffs. I think then there would be some serious issues. But, enough of Kyrie. What else we got? Carmelo fucking Anthony. 25-8 last night. Vintage Melo. I mean, what do I gotta say, man? The league needs Carmelo Anthony. They need him to be in Chicago and hearing the crowd chant, "We want Melo. Bring back Melo." Because he's lighting them up. He's looking good on the court. He's giving you buckets. He's dishing out dimes. And I think he hit a 3, and you just see Dame going nuts on the bench. I think Melo is good in that locker room. They said there was some tension a few games back before he got signed. He's a veteran. And he's got good personality to where he can bring a locker room together. And he's just a good player, man. I mean, it was ridiculous how he went jobless for so long. But I think he might have found his home there in Portland. I think he might have. Because, man, he can still hoop. He can still hoop. All right, and moving from one Melo to the other Melo, LaMelo Ball. I don't think, I'm not going to say, he needs to go number 1 right now. He's the best prospect. Dog. College basketball the NCAA hasn't even seen 10 games. So I don't know how these scouts, reporters can go on ESPN saying, he's the best scout, or he's the best scouted player anybody can see right now. Dog. I don't know if you've seen that dude, Cole Anthony. Okay? At UNC. I don't think you've seen Stasius Canley or Cassius Stanley. I think that's his name. Over in Duke. I don't think you've seen James Wiseman over in Memphis. And I'm probably missing out a couple of more. But I'm just saying, it's, clickbait, if you will, or just trying to make a name for yourself with going out with a big name like LaMelo is and his last name saying, he's the number 1 guy. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, he'll go lottery. Of course he will. But this early to say he's the number 1 pick is fucking stupid. And, yeah. Well, I think that's about it. But, I guess I'll end off with this. There were reports, towards the beginning of the season that the Heat might have liked to trade for Chris Paul. But the Heat are backing off because of, I think his name is Chris Nunn and Tyler Hero, because they're playing exceptional basketball. which they are. But like I said, this is the last year in the Eastern Conference for these teams to make a run to the finals. Because when KD gets back, it's a wrap. And you think Nunn and Tyler Hero are going to keep this play up all season and even get better in the playoffs? You're delusional. You need help. Chris Paul, I think, would be a great fit onto Miami Heat. But, all right, I think that's it. I think I'm going to get out of here. I'll hit you guys with some fashion stuff on Friday, but we'll just keep it NFL and NBA today. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the 1-4 Flat podcast.